Before we begin tonight's story, I want to tell you just one thing. If you ever hear someone calling your name from outside your bedroom window after midnight, never answer, even if the voice sounds exactly like someone you love. Because tonight's story comes from a man who still believes that if he had opened that door that night, he probably wouldn't be alive today. With that said, let's get into tonight's terrifying story. Today's story was sent in by Jacob M. from the state of Maine. My name is Jacob, and this happened to me during the winter of 2023. I live in a small town in Maine, surrounded by dense forests and snow-covered roads. My nearest neighbor lives nearly a mile away. Once night falls, the entire area becomes so quiet that it feels like you're the only person left in the world. It was a Friday night. My parents had driven out of town to visit some relatives and weren't expected back until the following afternoon. I had the whole house to myself. Around 11:30 p.m., I locked all the doors and windows and sat down in my room to play some games on my computer. At exactly 12:47 a.m., the lights flickered once. A few seconds later, they came back on, then suddenly went out again. This time, the entire house went completely dark. I turned on my phone's flashlight and immediately noticed something strange. My phone had no signal. It simply said, "No service." I figured it was probably because of the weather. I walked over to the window and pulled back the curtain. But it wasn't snowing. The trees weren't moving either. Everything outside was unnaturally still. That's when I heard it. Someone quietly whispered my name. Jacob. The voice sounded exactly like my mother's. For a split second, I thought maybe my parents had come home early, but then I remembered they were still 2 hours away. I slowly looked outside the window. No one was there, just darkness. About a minute later, I heard the voice again. Jacob, open the door. This time it was coming from the front porch. My entire body went cold. I looked through the peephole in the front door. Nobody was there. There weren't even any footprints in the snow. I slowly stepped back. Then the voice changed. Now it sounded exactly like my youngest sister, but she lived in another state. There was no possible way she could be outside my house. Then I heard a quiet laugh. It wasn't loud. It was the kind of laugh that makes you feel like something is hiding in the darkness, watching you. I ran to my bedroom and locked the door. That's when the worst part began. I could clearly hear someone slowly walking around the outside of the house, soft footsteps crunching through the snow. They would stop beneath one window, then move to the next, almost as if something was checking every room to see where I was. Eventually, the footsteps stopped directly beneath my bedroom window. Then I heard 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. I wanted to pull back the curtain and look outside more than anything, but something deep inside me kept saying, "Don't look." Then I heard something that completely froze me in place. From outside the window, I heard my own voice. It sounded exactly like me. "Jacob, look at me." I couldn't move. It didn't just sound similar to my voice, it was my voice. The same accent, the same breathing, the same tone. I stayed awake in my bed until sunrise without making a sound. As soon as the sun came up, my phone suddenly regained signal. Within seconds, 6 missed calls from my parents appeared on my screen. They had apparently been trying to call me since midnight. When they got home, I told them everything that had happened. My father went outside to check the snow around the house. A few moments later, he called my name. There were footprints in the snow, but they weren't human. Each footprint had only 3 long toes. And the most terrifying part, the tracks ended directly beneath my bedroom window. There were no footprints leading away. It was as if whatever had been standing there had simply vanished into thin air. Later that day, the local sheriff came to investigate. After looking around, he asked me only one question. "Did you answer the voice?" I said, "No." He stayed silent for a few seconds, then simply replied,
"You're lucky." He refused to explain what he meant. Even now, every once in a while, at exactly 12:47 a.m., my phone loses its signal for about a minute. And during that minute, I can still hear someone quietly whispering my name from just outside my bedroom window. If you enjoyed tonight's story, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more terrifying stories, and let me know in the comments, what would you do if you heard your own voice calling your name from outside your window in the middle of the night?